Alright, hi everybody, it's Jeff with a hitter ship product review of the Elgato Gaming HD60 Pro internal capture card. First off, let's get the formalities out of the way of full disclosure. I wasn't paid shit for this review. I bought the product all on my own. This review is purely my opinion. I was not endorsed or paid for by Elgato. It's all me. Point of this card is to get your console gameplay accessible somehow on your computer so you can either make videos that you post to YouTube or stream to Twitch or whatever the hell you want to do with it. They got two different form factors of this card. One's the internal PCI slot one. The other one is the external USB one. This review is specifically about the internal capture card because I do not own the USB one, so this is all about the internal version. Though both versions use the exact same software, some of the review might actually go through both, but I couldn't tell you for certain because I only own the one. Alright, let's start out with the connections on this card. The back of the card's got an HDMI input and an HDMI output. Now there's zero latency between the input and the output, which means on your TV you get a completely lag-free experience because, let's face it, when you're using a console game, you need to have zero lag in order to have your buttons control your characters correctly so you don't miss any moves. I personally would have been happier had they just included a lag-free HDMI splitter in the box instead, because my computer is not exactly what you call close to my console nor my TV, so I have to have a cord running around my room to my computer and another cord running back around the room to the TV, so that gets kind of annoying. It's not Elgato's fault, they left everything in a nice little package, but it was something that I just kind of personally wish I had a better setup for, but for you guys it might work out just fine. Different than the USB version is meant to be a straight kind of pass-through, and you can fit it in your system in a lot easier ways than you can do an internal capture card. So I think it was kind of an oversight for them to build both straight into the card, but I understand where they're going with that, so I can't really knock them too bad for that. Alright, let's talk about the Game Capture HD software for a minute. The software is pretty nice. It's kind of like this all-in-one suite. It's got a lot of different options. I can go ahead and turn on some different types of overlays they have in here by default, get my webcam and things like that going. I can turn on and off my commentary. I can see all my microphone levels. All that looks good on the outside. The software looks nice. You can actually even stream right from this software. I haven't done it yet. You can see there's a stream button down here though. On the outside, the software looks great, but I will tell you there's some inherent problems with this. Now the software has two different settings menus, which can sometimes get a little bit confusing if you're trying to look for something and you don't know really where to find it, but I'll tell you right here. The settings menu on the Elgato itself, or the capture card itself, there's only really one option in here I've had to mess with ever since getting it set up, and it's been the Allow 60 FPS. It's a check mark that you have to actually select in order to record in 60 FPS. I don't know if that's so you can save space or what, but why would you buy this card if you didn't want to allow 60 FPS recording? That's beyond me if you would buy this not with the intent of doing 60 FPS recording. So pretty much make sure this button's checked. Now, on the other hand, in the other capture menu, one of the options you'll see that I have disabled now is called the Enable Flashback Recording. Elgato touts this card as being so great because it's got this flashback recording feature, which means you can be playing the game, it records all the time, everything that you do. So if you miss something when you weren't quote-unquote recording, you can always go back and get that footage because it's always there. This is really, I can't figure anything out about this except that it's a gimmick. I mean, it's really, all it's doing is it's just like you hit the capture button the entire time, because if you find something that you actually wanted when you weren't quote-unquote capturing, you just have to go back and cut it out anyways and insert it where you need it. So it's essentially like having the capture button hit the entire time. Now, I'm turning this off because, for one, I need to save some hard drive space. I'm not always running the game and playing it when I'm here on footage that I need to have recorded. If I was doing that, I would just be capturing the entire time. So I can't really quite figure out the best use of this option. So I've just turned it off. Who knows? Maybe for you guys, maybe it'll work. But honestly, if you're doing anything where you might need to save that footage, just be recording the entire time. There's no difference. Now, the other thing to look at here is in the sharing menu. This is very important. There's some options in here that are mix the following tracks to exports. You can mix your webcam overlays that I just showed you how to do in the live audio commentary so that when this finalizes your video when you're done recording, it puts them all together in one nice little package for you. Yeah, that's great, except for you'll see momentarily the audio lag is so horrendous that it's unusable this way. Go into this menu. I highly suggest you turn these options off and you export to separate files, both your webcam and your live commentary audio. Otherwise, you are going to run into problems. Now, one thing you will notice with this is Elgato, when it splits the audio stream up, it decides to, for some odd reason, save it in an M4A file instead of your standard old MP3 file. I don't know why that's the case. I don't know why they can't get their goddamn act together and just do an MP3 file like everybody else does. But Vegas sometimes has issues with the M4As. You can put in just the right codec, and I honestly couldn't tell you off the top of my head which one it was. I went through multiple codecs before I finally got this working. But in the M4A file, if you can finally actually get it to go over to Sony Vegas, you're in luck. It'll actually be usable. Look, I just imported it by clicking and dragging it over. You can do the file import. You can throw it down here on the timeline. I finally did get it working. If you run into problems, though, open up Sony Vegas as an administrator. It actually does work a lot of the time to, if you open this up as an administrator here. So let's go check this out. Vegas. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to run it as an administrator. I'm going to get an error message for a minute because it's telling me I'm running it as an administrator. Not really an error, more of a warning. But if you do this, and it actually gives you a lot easier time that you can add videos or the M4A files without having to convert them over to MP3. The problem is when you run this as an administrator, you actually lose the ability for some odd reason to be able to click and drag anything over to it. I don't know why that's the case with Vegas. That's a Vegas thing, not an Elgato thing, but if I just go do the file import, I can pull in that M4A and it works fine. Since I updated my system to Windows 10, it actually seems to work, so maybe there's a codec built into Windows 10 that makes it work, but before I did the upgrade when I was running Windows 8, I had to run Vegas as an administrator if I wanted these M4A files to actually come over and get my commentary going. Now, one of the biggest things that really drives me nuts about this program is the fact that despite it having a built-in commentary option here, the audio lag is just atrocious when you just try to use it as is. I will show you an example right now. I'm playing Mario, and I'm sitting here, and I'm going to tell you right when I hit the jump button, I'm going to hit the button on the pad so you guys know. Ready? Jump, 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 jump. Now, notice how bad that actually is and how delayed that is. And this is how it would come as is, or if you actually kept the files together and didn't have the audio tracks separately, this is how bad your audio lag would be. But let me show you how to fix that. Okay, so now we're over in Sony Vegas, and I've just imported those clips that we just created, the clips that you just saw here into Sony Vegas, and I pulled them down to my timeline. Now, this is the live audio feed. This is the game audio feed. The first thing you're going to notice is the live audio feed is actually slightly longer than the game audio feed and the game video for that matter. Now, this actually makes it kind of easy to fix post-processing the whole lag issue because all you have to do to actually fix this is move your video to match up with the very end of the live audio feed. And you'll see at the very beginning here, we have a nice little excess of dead air. Just split this clip off, delete it, and now this thing actually lines up exactly where it should. You don't actually have to sit there and kind of like tweak with the audio and find out exactly the best spot for it because it really is just as simple as lining up the end of the audio feed. Take a listen right here. Ready? Jump, jump, jump. As you can see, I move the audio just slightly to match up right with the end of the video, and everything actually works perfectly. Now, it's great that it's easy to fix, but this definitely gives it a mark in the shit category because it seems like such an easy fix. Why would you have dead air at the beginning that causes lag? That's beyond me. It causes hell when you're trying to actually have the audio so it mixes directly in with the video so you don't have to do post-processing. I haven't even tried live streaming yet. The Elgato software, supposedly you can live stream from it. I haven't done it yet, but I can only imagine that your audio is going to be delayed if this is the outcome of the way that this works. Elgato, get your shit together, fix this. It's annoying. Now, one of the things I thought was going to be a lifesaver with the Elgato is that you don't have to use the Elgato software to actually capture your video. You can capture it with OBS or XSplit, and I thought this was going to be a great solution to the lag problem, to leave everything like just streamlined and all in one place and easy. Hit record, stop record, and everything would work just fine. Now, unfortunately, I found out some errors to that. I'm going to pull in right now the Elgato video capture on the left and the OBS video capture on the right. If you watch closely, the Elgato Capture on the left is extremely smooth, extremely beautiful, extremely clear, whereas the OBS Capture on the right keeps skipping and jumping back and almost like it's trying to play catch up and running at kind of a different speed, which makes it so it's unwatchable. I mean, so this option is just out the window. I read multiple forums, tried multiple different settings in both OBS and XSplit and had the exact same result. Can't get that thing to come smooth. The Elgato captures beautifully, OBS does not. So using an external program in order to fix this lag issue is just not possible. So I guess that means we just have to live with the post-processing of fixing the audio lag. That's really the only option that we have. Now, one of the really annoying things about the Game Capture HD60 Pro is the way the commentary feature works. I wanted to have this thing hooked up so that I could have the sound all coming through my headphones, so I'm not bothering anybody and having TV sound sitting there going out the TV the whole time. I wanted to be able to sit here and listen to my headphones and actually listen to the game sounds while I was capturing audio, so that it was just quiet in the room and it was just like me talking, just like I'm recording any other video. Now the problem is, when you hit the commentary button, there's no way for some odd reason for this thing to be a silent microphone. It actually makes your microphone come through your speakers when you are recording your commentary. Now this gets really annoying because the audio is slightly lagged from everything else that's going on in the world. So you actually hear yourself at a very slight delay as you're sitting here and trying to play the game, and I'll tell you, it can get extremely annoying and difficult to deal with. I've actually reverted to taking my headphones off most of the time and just using my TV and actually having to have the TV sounds on because of the fact that I could not concentrate with the way that my audio was sitting there and reverbing through the speakers. Now, it actually sounds something like this. All right, I'm playing. Jumped right into that guy. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have made that jump. Let's start this game over. Let's see if I can get this right this time. Okay, got it. All right, I'm good. And here we go. Yeah, that's pretty freaking annoying, isn't it? Elgato, I don't understand why you couldn't make it so it's just a silent capture from the audio perspective. Every other program is. Get with the program. Oh, by the way, don't turn off your computer if you're not going to be recording, because if you turn off your computer, you can't even just sit there and casually play your system. It's based on the fact of needing the computer power to use the HDMI pass-through from the input to the output, so computer's got to stay on the entire time, whether you plan on recording or not, so that's something to keep in mind. Now, one of the things that people get really confused about with this card is this concept of being lag-free. Now, I'll tell you, it truly is lag-free when you're talking about your pass-through from your input to your output, so your TV is truly lag-free. A lot of people say this is an internal capture card and therefore there's zero lag or zero latency going to your computer. That is not 100% true. It is extremely close to lag-free and latency-free. It's not quite there, though. Now, Elgato never claimed it was. Elgato, I believe, puts it as it's a minimal lag interface to the computer. And that's exactly like hitting the nail on the head. It is so close to being lag-free that when you play it on your computer, you feel like you can actually control your character and be fine looking at your computer screen and not at your TV. I actually bought the card and spent the extra money on this particular card, being an internal capture card, thinking that it was going to be lag-free to my computer and I wouldn't even have to use my TV, that I could just do everything straight up from my computer. That's not true. I started playing it and I quickly realized the lag is minimal, but even in a game like Mario, it's so much. You miss so many jumps, like any of those like pixel perfect jumps, quote unquote. You can't make them using the computer screen because there is that minimal lag. If you're playing a game, I don't know, like some card game, maybe you got an Wii version or Xbox version of Solitaire, yeah, you could probably do that. That would be fine. Any turn-based game like that. But let's be honest, who wants to record and put those up there anyway? You know, you want to have this thing for all the cool action games, things that are going fast and quick and smooth and that need all this quick reflex time and response time. This is not going to do that for you on your computer. Don't take this the wrong way. It is lag-free to your TV. You're not going to be like delaying yourself and, you know, shooting yourself or selling yourself short when you're playing on your TV. That's going to be fine, but don't buy this card based on the fact that you can actually play it on your computer screen as lag-free. You read a lot of the reviews and you talk to a lot of people who have this card, and they claim that it truly is a lag-free interface to your computer. It's not. Trust me. Take it from me. This is the review that I'm telling you. It is not lag-free to the computer. It is to the TV, not the computer. Now the important stuff. Let's talk about the recording quality itself. When all is said and done, this thing captures the video beautifully. It is so pristine and so crystal clear. I cannot fault the card at all for that. That's definitely a big hit, for sure, in my book. It is great. It is pristine. It is beautiful. However, I've already discussed with you all the other problems that to get to the point of a final video with commentary and everything, there's a little work that needs to go into it. You can't just kind of out of the box, hit record, go, post to YouTube. It doesn't work like that. You need to do some post-processing in order to get the videos where you want it. But I will have to say, the video quality, I cannot be disappointed with. It's fantastic. Okay, so let's sum this up for everybody now. Hits, 60 FPS recording, beautiful video quality. I mean, like I said, I can't fault the card at all for the video quality that comes out of it. Honestly though, those are really the only two hits that I can really come up with. The shit list here, there's commentary lag, there's need for post-processing, you can't turn your computer off, it's M4A files as opposed to MP3 files, OBS and XSplit integration is just not working well enough to actually even really call it true integration. That lag, just the delays and the stuttering make it just an unwatchable video. The fact that your commentary comes out through your speakers, so you get this reverb in your speakers when you're trying to get the game sounds onto your headphones as opposed to your TV. Those are all the things in the shit list. There's too many things in the shit list for me to give this a hit. I have to say, Elgato, I'm sorry. This is going in the shit category. It's great for what it is. I've bought it. I'm going to stick with it because it's what I have, but you could have done such a better job. Maybe with a software update down the road to fix some of these things that I'm talking about, this could be in the hit category. It seems like a lot of these things truly could be fixed with like a software upgrade. I don't know though. I don't know what the hardware details are on what goes into the faults, the shit list that I talked about, and what's a software-based or a hardware-based fault. But I really think there could be a software update maybe coming up at some point that fixes a lot of these problems. So keep an eye on this card, but honestly, I wouldn't jump on it yet if I were you. Elgato HD60 internal capture card. You're on the shit list. And there you have it. The hit or shit device review of the Elgato HD internal capture card.